These last few weeks been rough. Straight up the kind of emotional ride that flips everybody in this crew upside down. But before anything else, I gotta show love to the PGA Tour for even stepping up in the first place. Their latest move shocked the whole golf world, because Wesley Bryan, a former PGA Tour champ and one of the biggest names online, just got hit with a suspension. If you love the untold stories and drama in golf, make sure you subscribe Golf Mode TV channel, and we've got the inside scoop every week. According to Reuters and Golf Digest, the whole punishment came from Bryan popping out at a live-backed influencer event.
It's been a difficult few weeks for us. It's been an emotional roller coaster for sure for everybody in this cart. But I want to lead off just by thanking the PGA Tour.
And that one appearance lit the rivalry back on fire. What started off as a fun little exhibition turned into one of the wildest and most talked about disciplinary hits of 2020. The whole move left people stunned, not because of the rule itself, but because of who they went after. A player known for creativity and real connection, not beef or drama. And in golf, that's exactly why this whole thing blew up so big. To really get why this hit so hard, you gotta understand who Wesley is. Back in 2017, he took the RBC Heritage title, and from there he built more than just a resume, he built a vibe. With his brother George, he created Bryan Bros Golf, one of the top trick shot and golf education channels on YouTube. Their videos helped flip the sport's image and pull in younger fans the PGA Tour has been struggling to reach. Bryan wasn't just another golfer, he was the link between old school golf and the new digital wave. So when that link suddenly got cut off, fans started asking real questions. The PGA Tour claims Bryan showing up at that Levin-connected exhibition broke their rules, but critics are saying that the whole event wasn't even a competition or a rival tour stop. It was strictly an entertainment project, nothing more. But that tiny detail could turn into a massive problem. People are wondering if this was a fair call, or if the PGA just threw its first shot at quieting one of golf's most independent voices. At the core of the Wesley Bryan drama is the PGA Tour's strict participation policy, a rulebook built to protect their control over where and how players show up. Under these rules, players got to get clear permission before they show up at any event the tour doesn't approve, even if it's just an appearance, not a real competition. That whole setup was built years ago to protect the PGA Tour's brand and control the schedule, and it became the main weapon in their fight with LIV Golf, the Saudi-backed league that's been challenging their power since 2022. For a long time, those guidelines were quiet in the background, barely talked about, but in 2025 they came back strong, and this time they landed on a player nobody expected to be dragged into this mess. Golf Digest revealed that Bryan's situation wasn't simple at all, because the event he joined wasn't even a full-on LIV tournament. It wasn't even a real tournament. It was an influencer-style showcase mixing content creation, fan moments, and big-name appearances all in one place. Bryan pulled up as both a golfer and a creator, filming a whole series that blended competition with pure entertainment, in a way only he could pull off. But the PGA Tour didn't care about any of those details. They treated the whole thing as a straight rival-linked appearance, and kicked off an automatic disciplinary process like the rulebook couldn't bend for anything. At the center of all this is a battle over image, influence, and where the future of golf is headed. LIV Golf brings a new kind of visibility, while the PGA Tour leans on tradition and legacy, but Bryan's suspension opens up one tough question. Who actually controls the game's next chapter? Was he punished for swinging a club, or for switching up how the whole sport gets played and shared in the digital era? His crossover role, that bridge between old-school broadcast golf and online creativity, made him both powerful and exposed at the same time. This wasn't just about one appearance, it was about who gets to steer the direction of the entire game. The suspension blasted through the golf world, but Wesley Bryan didn't keep quiet, not even for a minute. Just days after the news dropped, Reuters reported on April 23, 2025, that Bryan officially appealed the ruling, calling the PGA Tour's punishment ambiguous and inconsistent. He said the rules being used against him were wide open to interpretation, and made it clear that showing up at that LIV-linked exhibition wasn't some act of rebellion. Bryan pushed back even harder by pointing out that the entire exhibition was built around entertainment, not competition, something the PGA Tour itself has used in its own marketing for years. To him, the punishment felt less like rule enforcement and more like a warning shot aimed at anyone trying to move the sport into new spaces. And that's where the real tension lives. He claimed the tour was stretching its authority into areas that were never meant to be controlled, especially creative projects built for social platforms. In Bryan's eyes, this wasn't a breach, it was innovation, something golf desperately needs as it fights to stay relevant. His appeal made fans wonder if the PGA Tour was protecting rules or protecting control. As the appeal gained attention, fans and creators across social media started rallying behind him, calling the suspension a step backward for a sport trying to connect with younger audiences. Many argued that Bryan had done more to modernize golf's image than entire marketing teams, and now he was being punished for the same creativity that lifted the sport online. Even longtime PGA loyalists admitted the punishment felt unusually harsh, especially for an event that didn't even count as real competition. The conversation shifted fast from Bryan's actions to bigger questions about how the tour handles players who build influence outside traditional broadcast platforms. Suddenly, this wasn't just Bryan's fight. It was a battle over the future of golf content. Inside PGA circles, the situation created serious discomfort, because Bryan's case exposed the blurry line between protecting the brand and limiting personal freedom. Some insiders reportedly believed the tour feared losing control as digital creators gained more power than ever before. Others felt the suspension was the tour's way of sending a message before things spiraled out of their hands. Meanwhile, LIV supporters pointed at the controversy as proof that the PGA Tour was still battling insecurity in 2025. To them, the suspension wasn't about rules. It was about stopping the flow of influence into anything connected to LIV, even indirectly. With Bryan appealing and public support growing, pressure started piling on both sides, turning a small exhibition into a full-on spotlight moment for the entire industry. For Bryan, this whole thing was a creative move, not a money grab, not a tour switch, just straight content, community, and collaboration. In his mind, golf was leveling up, but the PGA Tour felt locked in an older era. His entire appeal came down to one main point: intent. He said the event was part of his creator career, a hybrid project mixing fun, instruction, and entertainment all in one. It wasn't a sanctioned competition, and it definitely wasn't a rival tour stop, just a creative format that fit the digital world he helped build. His videos reached millions and pulled new fans into golf, but the PGA Tour didn't leave space for any of that nuance. They treated any link to live golf as crossing a hard line. To Bryan and everyone backing him, this was way bigger than a simple punishment. It was a fight over what golf is allowed to become. This whole situation felt like a warning shot aimed at every golfer trying to step into the digital world, making the tour's love for tradition look more like a fear of progress. Fans jumped in fast. Social media lit up with people saying the PGA wasn't protecting the sport, it was blocking evolution. Golf Shake's August 2025 editorial even called the suspension a massive overreaction, saying Bryan's creativity was getting smothered by an outdated system. But on the other side, some backed the PGA, saying rules are rules, and if they go soft now, their authority could fall apart. While everyone battled online, Bryan kept doing what he does, posting new content, playing his game, and staying positive through the whole storm. With every new upload he dropped, the pressure on the PGA Tour's image kept stacking up, and the noise from the public only got louder. Behind all the headlines and hashtags sits a much bigger problem. The PGA is struggling to adjust to a whole new era of golf. There was a time when the sport lived off TV deals, sponsor loyalty, and that perfect corporate shine, but 2025 changed the entire game. Now one viral clip can shift public opinion faster than any full tournament broadcast ever could. Creators like Wesley Bryan mastered this new lane, pulling in audiences in the millions through YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And these fans aren't showing up for a leaderboard. They're here to be entertained, inspired, and taught. For the PGA Tour, this whole shift is both a chance and a threat at the same time. And in trying to tighten their grip, they ended up showing just how uneasy they are about losing control of the story. When Essentially Sports checked back in on Bryan's situation in October 2025, the energy had flipped. It wasn't just controversy anymore. It was all about his comeback. The article showed how Bryan stayed positive, using the suspension as a moment to think about the sport's growing pains and the push for evolution. He talked about finding the right balance between rules and relevance, saying the future of golf depends on embracing new ideas instead of running from them. His message hit home for the younger players who don't see a wall between competition and creativity, a mindset that's changing what it means to be a pro golfer today. Bryan's fight with the PGA isn't just some rule dispute, it's a straight-up generational clash, with tradition on one side and digital freedom on the other. And this same tension is showing up everywhere. Formula One, tennis, even esports, where leaders are trying to protect their old-school image while still staying alive in a modern world. Bryan's situation has turned into a mirror, exposing golf's own struggle between authority and authenticity. And now that the legal dust is settling, one question keeps echoing. Did the PGA protect the sport, or did they hurt their own reputation doing it? As 2025 winds down, Wesley Bryan is standing right at a crossroads that could shape everything ahead. His appeal is still hanging in the air, but his reputation hasn't taken a single hit. If anything, this whole mess made his bond with fans even stronger. His YouTube channel keeps climbing, his instructional clips pull in millions, and his brand deals are still locked in like nothing ever happened. What started as a setback flipped into a full display of resilience, proof that a modern athlete can still shine even when the traditional system tries to sideline them. The PGA Tour might have benched him, but Bryan showed that real influence today isn't measured by tee times, it's measured by attention, and no suspension can touch that. Behind the scenes, the PGA is feeling the heat, because every week without a final decision brings tougher questions about fairness, consistency, and whether the rules were applied the same to everyone. Inside the walls of the PGA Tour, the tension keeps rising, because Bryan's situation exposed cracks that were easy to ignore until now. Players quietly started asking whether the rules were being enforced evenly, or if certain cases were being used to send a message. And once that doubt creeps in, the whole system starts looking shaky. Industry analysts pointed out that the tour's slow response only made everything feel messier, like they were struggling to balance their image with the reality of modern golf. Meanwhile, fans kept pushing for transparency, wanting clear answers instead of vague statements. Bryan's case wasn't just testing the rulebook, It was testing the tour's trust with the public, and that pressure wasn't going anywhere. As the debate grew, some insiders suggested the PGA feared a bigger wave coming, a generation of players who aren't scared to build their own platforms, tell their own stories, and move outside the traditional media lane. Bryan wasn't the first to do it, but he might be the first to force the conversation to this level. Creators across the golf space said the same thing. If the tour can punish someone for a harmless project, then what stops them from coming after the next rising voice? That question hit hard, because it wasn't just about Bryan anymore. It was about the future ecosystem of the sport. Whether the PGA realizes it or not, the power dynamic is shifting fast, and the next move they make could shape how the entire industry handles digital creators moving forward. The big question now is what the tour decides to do next. Will they quietly bring Bryan back, try to cut some middle ground deal, or push for a full exclusion that could spark even more backlash? Whatever they choose, it's bigger than paperwork. It's a symbol of where the PGA wants to stand in this new era. Their move won't just affect Bryan, it'll shape how a whole generation views the institution and its power in the sport. What's on the line here isn't just the future of one golfer, it's the credibility of the governing system itself. Critics say that by going after creators like Bryan, the PGA is pushing away the exact fans they need, younger people who follow real personalities, not stiff press room answers. Tour loyalists fire back saying structure and discipline are what keep the sport respected in the first place. Both sides make points, but finding the balance between freedom and fairness is proving to be one of the toughest battles in modern golf. If you love the untold stories and the wild drama happening in golf, make sure you subscribe. This is Golf Mode TV, and we drop the inside scoop every single week. In a lot of ways, this one case has turned into the heart of the whole conversation about golf stepping into the digital era. Whatever the PGA chooses next will either lock in their authority or show the world how resistant they are to real change. And Wesley Bryan, his story isn't finished. Whether he gets reinstated or not, he's already pushed the sport to think differently about what modern golf can look like. The PGA's decision could shape how golf treats independence and creativity in the digital age, and Bryan might be the one who forced the entire sport to face its next evolution. Do you think the PGA was right to suspend him, or did they go way too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.